Aren't you supposed to be off learning how to become the divine and whatnot?
Her eyes flash with something. Anger, perhaps, or fear.
But never mind. We better focus on the task at hand.
She looks straight ahead, ignoring you.
Well, aren't you industrious? It seems all the riffraff's back aboard as well. Ready to set sail when you are, Your Holiness. Fantastic. Now, on to the interesting part.
After many adventures, the party finally reached the place where Godwo can go to become divine. But more surprises and difficult choices awaited.
Here we are, the Nameless Isle. And here I thought Malady was unimaginative. Still, it's what's on the inside that counts, isn't that right? And this is the place you're meant to become a god. I can't help but wonder exactly what you intend to do with such a power. That's true, technically. But do be wary of putting yourself first at the expense of others. Those who are mistreated tend not to bear their condition indefinitely. Remember that. You'll want to hurry now. Divinity is waiting, after all. Excellent question. Normally, this place ought only to be known to Godwoken, but judging by the ships burning in the bay, there's been a breach, let's call it. Regardless of who's on the island, all that matters is who ascends. Make sure that's you. The strongest will survive and ascend. I'm hardly an expert on the matter, but I'm smart enough to put two and two together. Where there is an ocean of source, there is a well for drawing from it. To rise to divinity, you probably need to take a gulp, though I'm sure it won't be that simple.
Gareth greets you warmly. He's oddly chipper. More chipper than you've ever seen him, and certainly more chipper than most people mourning dead loved ones.
I should thank you. I don't know what came over me. Praise Lucian I had you to put me on the right track. I am feeling, well, if not good, then certainly better. I just needed time to think. My parents led good lives. I'd rather celebrate them for the love they gave me than to wail over their loss. Besides, we have work to do. Once we anchor at the Nameless Isle, I'll scout ahead. See if I can help locate the council and ease the way. I'll report to you on what I find. Nonsense. I just had to take time to renew my spirit. Lucian said, I will refresh the tired and satisfy the weary. Words as true today as when he said them.
Gareth offers his farewell and hums to himself. You recognize the tune. Blessed and bold. A hymn praising Lucian. The squirrel guides its cat over to you, chittering as it goes. It reaches up and hands you a piece of bark. The wood is covered in a scratchy, scrawled handwriting. It's hard to read, but you can just about make out the recipe for a spell.
You don't look...
I can sense the raw powers of the source rippling through the air. The island, yonder. It is doom or destiny. Naught but the demon I'm hunting.
Jahan takes you by the arm, his voice a whisper.
By the by, do please remember the warning I gave you in the woods. Should Losa come close to divine ascension, you must act. You must kill her.
Do what you must at this place, sorcerer. I don't want to linger.
Tread carefully, my dear. Those are black ring banners that I spy on the shore. I studied the tablet that you so generously provided. It showed me everything I need to know about creating a functional Swornbreaker. Once I have that, I'll be free of the Covenant. And free to spend the rest of my days with Mahali. See those structures further inland? Remarkably like those from the caverns of the Black Pits, aren't they? Should you discover the parts needed for a Swornbreaker, please bring them to me. I'll make it worth your while. Also, you will likely encounter sworn followers of the God King on that island, I suspect. I would avoid combat if possible. Death can be less than final for them, if the God King wills it.
Almira doesn't respond right away. Instead, she turns and gazes intently at the island. After a long moment, she finally speaks.
I sense a familiar presence. The Sallow Man. Yes. He's there somewhere. Likely commanding Black Ring forces. You should seek him out. He's a foul creature, but not opposed to cutting a deal. Beware his underlings, though. If they challenge your presence, pose as a thrall of mine, and you should gain safe passage. My name should still command respect among them. Something on your mind? You want to craft a Swornbreaker? I hope you haven't fallen in with the wrong crowd, my dear. Here, take the tablet. Just remember that I covet the Swornbreaker as well. I trust you wouldn't deny a girl her deepest desire, would you?
Hello. This island is something else, huh? I'll bet I can find many interesting ingredients here. Of course. Told you I would, didn't I? Sure thing. I'll...
Fight by your side if the price is right.
Quite a journey I've found myself on with you. Is this where it ends, I wonder? Dangers indeed. You can almost hear the sounds of battle when the wind shifts correctly. And where there's battle, there's bound to be mercenaries. Gleku Duma, the words of the lone wolves. No doubt my former comrades will have them in their employ. Speak their words, and you might pass. Speak their words, and you might pass. Consider it a token of my thanks for the assistance in retrieving anathema. My efforts continue. I must admit it's quite an intricate piece to work with, even for someone like myself. I remain confident of success, though. Pursuit of my interests has led me to fall in with some disreputable company in my time. For a short while, one such group was the Black Ring. I know, not something to be proud of, but they let me do as I wished, so desperate they were for aid after the Deathfog cut them down to size. A fine arrangement, until they started preaching about this God King and his infernal covenant.
He snorts derisively.
The last thing this world needs is another would-be god, and an army of fools willing to follow him. It's a sop to all the fools who think that someone will grant them power and immortality in return for loyalty. This God King has caused to make war with the Seven, and the Covenant is how he's gathered his army. They become sworn, as it was put to me, bound to serve, die, and be reborn for the God King for as long as he wishes. Then, at some ill-defined point in the future, they think they'll be rewarded. You should have seen them all. on their knees worshipping a new tyrant just to spite 7 old ones. I got away from them while I still could. Unfortunately, Dallas was waiting to snatch me. I'm afraid that exploring this island would only consume precious time.
These bodies have been purged.
Who could have done this?
I suspect we shall soon find out.
You're a young magister, devoted to Dallas. You fight alongside paladins. The Order united in battle, fighting the Black Ring as in the Great War. It's the proudest moment of your life, and then it's the last.
A magister, dead on the beach. What a surprise.
The seaside doesn't suit them, does it?
No ghosts remain. All are purged.
I fancy a swim.
You need a bath.
Quick as a flash, the Magister has an arrow notched on his raised bow. He falters. A glimmer of recognition crosses his face, followed a moment later by a wry smile.
My Fort Joy savior. I never thought I'd clap eyes on you again. You always seem to catch me at a low ebb, unfortunately. My troop was slaughtered by Black Ring. I'm the only survivor. What are you doing here?
A skeptical eyebrow arches upwards.
You, Godwoken? That seems unlikely. Never mind. There are more important matters at hand. Bishop Alexander and the others might still be out there. I need to find them. Let me stay by your side for now. You can count on my bow in any fights to come.
He nods.
I never thought I'd follow him. Not after Fort Joy. But he won over us veterans. Magister and Paladin alike. He's like a different man, now that he's found the path to divinity. He broke free from Dallas and Breedman's influence, and they tried to murder him for it. Them and their white magisters. Us loyalists had to stand by his side. The fracturing of the Divine Order, the Voidwoken crisis, multiple attempts on his life. He's let none of it deter him. Now Ascension is within sight at last.
He slings a quiver of arrows across his back and nods.
Eyes sharp.
You frown with surprise. Alexander vanished along with all the others when the Lady Vengeance breached the Hall of Echoes. You assumed he was dead.
Perhaps I have misjudged humans. Alexander seems as immortal as I.
Oh, won't he be ever so happy to see us? This is going to be extra fun.
Has as many lives as a cat, it seems. Let's see if he acts like one when cornered.
Magisters and Paladins, all dead. Blackring, could they be doing the purging?
The plot thinnens.
No!
Delorus kneels and rolls over the corpse of a Magister. He takes in his comrade's lifeless face for a moment, then bows his head.
Pierced. I'm sorry. Pierced. He was an old friend. He encouraged me to join the Magisters. And I talked him into coming to this island. This wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for me.
Delorus closes Pierced's eyes with his palm, then gets back to his feet.
You're right. Pierced wouldn't want me to wallow. He'd want me to carry on with our mission. Let's get moving.
No spirits here either. You'd expect to see some at least. What strange contraptions are these?
The ghost stares right through you, a horrified look upon her face.
They took the realm. They took it all. But they don't know what it is. They don't know what they have.
Hope flashes in her eyes as she tries to focus upon you.
Those black ring dogs. They took the universe, but they don't know what it is. I pray they do not think to try to use it.
She turns away.
This is incredible. What a structure.
There might be nothing like this left in the
Before you step, you've seen machinery like this.
A customer. Perhaps you'd like to trade
Find something to safeguard your
His lascivious eyes flick over you to skin-crawling effect.
vulnerable flesh. A distant place called Nemesis. I couldn't resist the lure of this world, though. Such bloodshed and despair truly does loosen purse strings.
The elven priest fervently prays.
Tell us what to do, brave Tirsendelia.
Make trade.
The creature runs a black tongue across its maw while staring at you hungrily. For a brief moment, you see row upon row of jagged teeth stretching right back to its gullet.
A distant, hungry place. Your war draws me. Make trade, or leave.
The creature stares at you like a wolf observing a plump lamb.
Trade.
I'll make sure that Pierce's sacrifice is recorded. He won't be forgotten. Until next time. You do not look Black Ring. Explain yourself.
The elf's deep, golden eyes go wide. A strange smile dances across his mouth, and he starts to roar with laughter.
You! The gods chose you as their champion. Run home, little Godwoken. You find only death here. You speak loudly, young Godwoken, but I see only a barking dog. You are not worthy of this temple. Leave. Run back to your hearth. Cower there while death searches for you.
The laughter dies from the elf's eyes, replaced with weary seriousness.
Good. It is proper that the Godwoken should not be so easily pushed away. Too many are not ready for the trials ahead. You may proceed. You find no threat here. Not from me, at least. The island is not overrun. This temple stands strong. The other gods were clearly not as powerful as Tirsendelia. In his fortress, the Black Ring do not succeed. They do not kill the Godwoken, but they do not fail. Now, knights and Godwoken both cower behind monsters, tied to sticks. It is not the place of a knight to reveal such things. We walked your path once. You must discover it yourself, as we did. Turn to the gods. Their guidance alone will lead you.
The elf raises a bushy eyebrow.
One demands from one's lessers. I am your equal, Godwoken. Once, I stand where you stand. My gods chosen, fighting to be the divine. The trials do not kill me, but neither do I triumph. Another becomes divine, and I remain here to serve Ter Sendelius and protect his chosen. May Zol Stissa ever watch over you.
Hold up. Shriekers.
We'll need a purging wand to defeat them.
The spirit of a Black Ring witch stands over her remains, loudly petitioning the sky above.
Please, my king, raise me again. The Shriekers are so close, I didn't have time to flee. I'll be swift the next time, I promise.
The glass is black, at first, but then a sickly haze begins to form, like sand upon a pond. The haze shimmers and becomes a face. A one-faced stranger looking straight at you. You feel his hate, his avarice, his thirst for blood. God-woken blood. He does not speak, and yet he asks you who you are. You know the wrong answer will send this man, this sallow man, into a ferocious rage. He buys it, and in a moment you know what he wants. Alexander's head, cut from his body and brought to the sallow man in his cave. And you know too what he's offering. Whatever you desire yourself to be. A new you, better than before, all your flaws gone forever. Sallow turns away. You're done.
The temple must hold. The temple must hold. The temple must hold. We held them off. We held them off. We held them off, and Alexander was saved.
Do you serve the God King's scum? That's our task. We would take the Elven Temple as soon as we could pass the Shriekers. You steal our service. You'll die there like the others, and in dying you'll serve the king. Perhaps we'll follow on your coattails, and we shall have the reward for Alexander's head.
By our God King's side. Laborers, food. You should be up there, dying for our Lord. You will never be deemed worthy.
You'll waste my time, and the God King's time too. You must serve.
Stay by me, and you'll not fall. And if you should, I'm sure the God King will find you worthy.
A hulking black ring captain glares at you with his one eye. The other one, a weeping socket surrounded by recent burn wounds.
You're not one of mine. You're not from headquarters either. Explain yourself, or I'll open you up and rip out an answer myself.
His blade is inching out of its scabbard, even as he speaks. Mention of the Sallowman's name has an instant effect. The captain grimaces and waves you through without another word.
See how we turn the world the Seven created against them? We drown their very temples with the oceans themselves. The God King will smile upon us.
That conjurer laid waste to an entire temple in an instant. After we bled ourselves dry trying to take it. Whatever reward that was coming to us is all for her now.
Hard to fathom such magic, even when it's right before your eyes.
The conjurer pays you no heed. She has eyes only for the portal swirling ahead. Reaver weaves and rocks on her feet, as if dancing to some unheard rhythm. Madness flashed.
Can you hear their beating hearts? They're not drowned yet. How long can you hold your breath? How long? And their hearts beat on. Can you hear them? Can you?
She blinks, looks at you clearly for the first time.
I see you now. I see your rotten heart. I'll listen. That can't be. I gave my heart to the God King. My heart is gone.
She closes her eyes, the better to feel the unheard beat, and sways on. The towering, black-clad warrior watches the water, wrapped in a religious fervor, talking to himself. To understand, you must listen close.
He moves hell on earth and the great oceans too, my old mother said, but she was wrong. She was wrong about Lucian. The God King has the power. The God King commands the world.
You can't be fully sure he heard you. His attention stays upon the water, and he whispers on.
For it is he who must rule all, and he who is the one, and he who bids the world be as it should be, and we shall all be saved, and we shall all rise up if we earn his grace.
I've never seen ruins like these.
You don't get out much, do you?
Divine Order's fleet by the look of it. Hellfire must have rained down on them.
Surprising any of them, to be sure.
Temple in the clouds. What holds this aloft?
Before you stands a shrine to Amadia, her solemn face carved of ancient stone. This statue of Amadia seems ancient. Moss blooms from cracks all over the stone, and tears of rain stream from her eyes. A hollow space marks the center of her creased brow. You remember that the statue of Amadia in the hollow marshes healed you. But no words from you can rouse this one to response. Whatever powers the gods once had has weakened indeed. You feel a presence awaken within the stone. An ancient awareness reaches out to you, swirling through every cell of your body and every mote of your soul. Lightning flashes and thunder rumbles. Static electricity crackles all around you and dances over your body. Yet you feel no jolt or shock, and it fizzles out as soon as it touches your skin. Then the awareness recedes from you, ebbing back like a tide until you are left completely alone. Alone with your thoughts, alone with the blessing Amadia left you with. Before you stands a shrine to Amadia. You feel a lightning, then the... Before you feel lightning, then the... Before you feel a lightning, then the... The spirit of a Black Ring initiate stands before you. He seems to be smoldering. Spectral ash and smoke drift away from him. He sighs at his incinerated mortal remains.
Perhaps my sacrifice will be enough. Perhaps the God King will restore me to fight again. You are no comrade of mine, outsider. You can go see for yourself and die in the attempt.
The spirit puffs himself up.
The God King rewards daring. I thought I could capture this place alone while the others were occupied. There's more dangers here than I would have credited with.
If the spirit still had a complexion, he would no doubt turn pale at this point.
God-woken? No, wait, please! I'll tell you what I know. The Sentinels. They're no danger when they're moving. But as soon as they stop, that means they're about to attack. That's all I know, I swear! That's how they got me. I didn't realize I was in danger until it was too late.
Now to find out what effect that had. Now to find out what effect that had. Amadia truly is the mother of all magic, the patron of all who use source. Sentinels.
What's that amongst them? On top of the pillar.
Our defenses are breached. Must I kill you now? It would pain me. I am relieved.
She gasps and bows her head in deference.
Forgive me, please. I hold this boon. It is Amadia's. It should be yours.
A pair of gloves, beaten and worn, but clearly of the highest value, especially to a wizard.
I came to the council to learn to be divine. I failed. I'm not made to be pursued by evil. And that's what it means to be God-woken. Afterwards, I roamed the island, as did all we fallen knights. But my worst fears came true when the Black Ring came. I fled here. I made sure the temple was defended and went to the altar. I prayed to Amadia for help. She did not answer. I'm not ashamed to say that I hid. There is untold evil in the world, and it has reached the island. It seeks the God-woken who would be divine. I cannot bear it. Go? There is no go. I belong here. I was God-woken, but for all the evil in the world, I would not be divine. I did not search the world for the others of our kind. My place is here. Yours is inside the mountain. Amadia's altar is at the highest point. Climb to the sky and you may find it. But be warned, Amadia rarely answers now. And when she does, she sounds unwell. May she speak to you with love.
She bows her head in deference and allows you to leave. A bird flits in the background as you approach the altar. Laying your hand on the weather-beaten stone, you feel a gentle heat. A sense of warmth and peace fills you. As you whisper your words, you feel the world around you melt away. You open your eyes to an old log house, a roaring fire, and a door ajar. Pushing the door open, you find a bedroom, comfortably furnished. In the middle of a bed, wrapped in blankets, is an old, shivering woman.
It is so good of you to come. I'm so proud of what you have accomplished, of the hero you are becoming. You will be at the well soon, but first I must ask you for help.
She leans forward, grey hair falling to frame her wrinkled face, and whispers.
I am so hungry. I need to feed. I need your source.
Her mouth opens and, with a scream of anguished fury, she throws you back from the altar. Your hand breaks contact with the stone, jerking away as if burned. Your ragged breathing slowly steadies, and you're back, floating above the nameless isle once more. A bird flits in the background as you approach the altar. Laying your hand on the weather-beaten stone, you feel a gentle heat. A sense of warmth and peace fills you. As you whisper your words, you feel that the room is...
I am so hungry.
The woman takes you in her arms, pulling you close in a warm, soft embrace. You almost can't help relaxing as her warmth spreads through you. You're still breathing in her scent, the smell of home, when you feel her claws. They press into your back, tearing cloth, breaking skin, pushing deep into muscle. A gasp escapes your lips, and you sense it, her ferocious hunger as she starts to feed. You feel your source draining away, your energy sapping, your own hunger becoming unbearable. You push her away, staggering backwards, until you rest gasping against the door. The figure in the bed draws the curtains and smiles as she is bathed in moonlight. She turns back to you, her grey hair now streaked with gold. She gets out of the bed, walking towards you, but you feel your god pulling you back, pulling you away from her claws. The room fades, but Amadi's moon remains, now emblazoned on the altar before you. Before you stand this statue of Amadi, with the grating sound of stone upon stone. The statue of Amadi moves to one side, revealing a secret room. The leaves of the altar rustle, a gentle murmur on the breeze. You feel calm, despite the low growls of the tiger standing beside you. You lean in, a sweet smell wafting around you, the smell of fresh wood, of blooming flowers, of a gentle summer's night. The scent fills your mind, and your vision starts to swim. You blink and find yourself standing in a dark glade. On the wind, you hear a whisper.
God woken.
You turn towards the voice and see the broken body of a fawn. A raven is perched upon its head, pecking at the gory hollow that once held its eye. You're about to turn away when the body twitches.
God woken.
The raven turns its gore-streaked beak towards you. Its eyes are a deep bloody red. God woken. It croaks as it takes to the air, circling the glade. God woken. The fawn's breathing is shallow and ragged.
I need to heal. Please, if we are to make it to the Well of Ascension, I need your blood.
As your blood touches the deer's lips, its head lurches forward, clamping its mouth over the wound. You can feel half of your vitality slowly drain away. You pull your arm back, breaking the connection, and see that the deer has grown too long in sizes. It gets to its feet, kicks something towards you, and stalks away. You pick up its gift, a round white stone, and are getting ready to leave when you feel a cold, heavy thump on your shoulder. You look up into the fierce red eyes of the raven. I see you, Godwoken, it croaks. I see you. The blood-flecked beak lunges at your eye, and you feel it. You feel it tear through the lid, through the jelly, and crack against bone. You stumble back, grasping at your face. Your eyes are fine, but the altar is changed, with the crescent moon hacked into the wood. As you leave, you can't shake the dull, thudding ache in your eye. Eyes closed, the tiger seems to be praying.
I am the last of my hide, my stripe, my streak. All of us but I fell dead in the mist when the true legs had their war. I pray to thee to bring us back, to save us from our end.
She cocks her head to listen to a voice you cannot hear.
If the covenant be in good faith, O black-winged god, and all the forest tigers shall return, then I shall accept your... They all shall die, I swear it, and I shall start...
She stares directly at you and bares her teeth.
With the she-elf.
The ghostly tiger bares her teeth at you, a triumphant glint in her eye.
When the God King brings the forest tigers back, and we rise to rule, you shall be the first to die. For you there shall be no return.
The ghostly tiger, a vision of her anger floats before you. The tigers of the forest lying lifeless in a fog, and she the last remaining spirit. But she has made a deal. She has sold herself to the God King, and when she rises with her kind, they shall come and hunt you down. She roars in defiant rage. You shall not take her. She belongs to the God King, and you shall not. She's wrong. You shall. The bear gives you a... The bear nods an uninterested greeting, as if you were just another elf. The bear yawns.
Speak, Godwoken, but be sharp. Time passes quickly. I am a knight once. I do not assent that only he and his they have come. They are doing...
Give me another chance.
The spirit... The spirit of a Hulk. The warrior drops the spirit. The priestess is oblivious to you. Instead, she's locked in frantic, desperate prayer.
Almighty Dune.
Tell us, brave Tiercendelius. Tell us what...
Ho there, hopeful. I belong to Tiercendelius. To whom are you sworn?
Inside you, Zol rumbles in protest.
I'll tell you something about Zol. She doesn't listen. Know how I know? Because, my friend, when I offered myself to her, she never answered. I was God-woken, and I failed her. But she, too, failed me. When she learned that I could not crush my own compassion, Zolstissa deserted me. She deserted all of us.
A voice within suggests he just wasn't good enough. He didn't know enough, hadn't developed his powers as best he should, wasn't ruthless enough. He failed because of himself.
I renounced her, and Tiercendelius came to me. He soothed me with his gentle words, and I was whole once more. He could do the same for you, if you would have him when you fail. No one ever does. But so far, no one has found the ruthlessness their gods demand. Me, I serve Tiercendelius. I am at your service. How may I help you?
He takes a deep breath, then bows to you.
I was not ruthless enough to be divine. I could not earn entry to the Council's great academy, but I may serve those who may, if they serve Tiercendelius. How can I help you?
Pain flashes across his face. That hurt.
Have you been to the temple of Zolstissa? Is the King's Knight safe? Is Zolstissa's chosen champion safe? I was not ready to die. I cannot serve the Lord Zolstissa if I am dead. I pray the temple has not crumbled, and Zolstissa's champion is not dead. Ha! You?
He stands head bowed as the blessing courses through him. He raises his hands before him, marveling at their glow. He looks at you at last, his mouth agape. He sinks to one knee. He looks at you to see if you're serious, and sees that you are. He kneels, bows his head, and begins to lick your boots clean. He does an excellent job and looks up to you for approval. He swallows hard, then blurts the question.
Who will you destroy to save the kin?
He stares at you in awe. Tears come to the corner of his eyes. He begins to rock back and forth, spellbound in religious ecstasy. He begins to pray.
There shall be a new divine, and she shall be a kin. There shall be a new divine, and she shall be a kin. There shall be a new divine, and she shall be a kin.
The elf prays hard, his eyes tight shut.
Soon, Tactician Delius will give us the power to smash the ring and all our enemies. Alexander does not rise. You fool yourself to think otherwise.
He closes his eyes once more and returns to his prayers.
Godwoken, the Mother Tree calls you. Follow the spirit. Climb to the heart of the tree. The Mother awaits. The Mother Tree calls you, Godwoken.
Mother, you don't look well. How vulnerable you are. At heart.
I am the scion of the Mother Tree. Her heart speaks through me.
The scion of the Mother Tree. Let me talk to her, please. She and I have business.
The Mother is in danger. A shadow hunts her. You must rid us of the shadow. The Shadow Prince is on this island, seeking our annihilation. He is the master of the House of Shadows. He is a terror that breathes. You know him simply as the Master, Sabine. It is time for vengeance. You must cut off its breath, then bring me its heart.
The Master. Where is he?
He is a lizard. No doubt he slithers close to the temple of his fork-tongued goddess. Beware, for he brings the shadows with him. I am the scion of the Mother Tree. Her heart speaks through me. He is a lizard. I am the scion of the...
Sabine touches your arm.
Look, it's Sahela.
Sabine, it is so good to see you once more. I must speak with you. It is of the greatest importance. I am in Fort Joy, but I do not see you there. From the fort I escape, as you do. At last I see clearly. I know what must be done. The mother is sick. She is weak. Her grip slips at last. You make her so. You kill her scions. You are strong now, Sabil. You are prime scion. You are God-woken. This is a unique opportunity. The impossible is now possible. Kill her. Free us from her tyranny. Please, finish what you start. One more kill. You must strike at her heart. Do this for me. Do this for all of us. Set us free.
You want the Mother Tree dead? Quite the change of heart since last we met.
I know, but now she is weak. I can speak truth. The Mother stops progress. The Mother stops lovers. The Mother forbids. The Mother commands. The Mother plots. The Mother wants vengeance. She is hollow, but all elves want is to live. I know I can count on you, Sabil. You who loves her freedom above all. You must climb the temple to find the Mother's heart, and then you must destroy it. Set yourself free, Sabil. Set us all free. The moment of truth approaches, does it not? Or...
Please, go ahead. And I remember saying I'd probably never tell you. Then again, why not? I suppose some stories were always meant to be told. So, here goes. No, hang on.
She retrieves a small flask from her backpack, uncorks it, and takes a big swig. Tears stream from her eyes as she offers you the flask.
They're tears of joy, I assure you. Here, have some joy.
You drink. It burns. Soon the tears run down your cheeks as well.
Not bad, is it? So good it has us crying like babies. Now then, the epic of The Master and the Scar. Sounds like a melodramatic opera. There was, of course, some singing involved. It began when I woke in the dark room. He removed my blindfold, and still I did not see. He himself was darker than any shadow, but I could hear him give orders to another, Stingtail. How he came to regret the actions he performed that day. The Master bid the dream a dream, and so he did. He sat there. I could feel his hands upon my cheeks. He trembled, as if in pain. I didn't know what was going on until quite suddenly, his right hand became a flame. I screamed as he traced the design of the scar into my searing flesh, but I could not move, not an inch. And all the while, the Master looked on in darkest silence. In that case, I should be able to lift mountains by now. So, once the scarring was over, and the pain began to fade, the training began. With words, whistles, snaps of the fingers even, the Master could make me obey his every command. Young, strong, smart. You know I don't exactly lack in qualities. It didn't take him long to train me in the arts of stealth, subterfuge, and assassination. It shakes me little now, all too little. But that first time, that first real kill, it was such stuff as nightmares are made on. I had now lived in the dark for what might as well have been years. I was in a wood, but the trees there were sick. Grey, leafless hydras sticking out of ashen earth. There were no stars that night. She sat, shivering beside a fire. I was nervous. I had to chase her. My hand hated itself, tried to resist, but there is no resisting the Master's song. My stabs weren't as mercifully exact as they should have been. I had to bring down the needle again and again as her screams flooded the forest with terror. When it was done, I crawled back to the Master, broken, crept back into the box. and through its cold, black lid, he told me I had done well. Next time, I'd do better. You understand me completely. With the needle, I'll kill him. And with the needle, I'll strike his name from my skin. The bastard will be master no longer. The very best.
She cocks her head ever so slightly and eyes you as innocently as a kitten.
Why? Don't tell me you disagree. We'll see about that, won't we? As for absolute truth, the prospect both tickles and terrifies me. I mean, divinity. Will it be a blessing or a burden? Would we be truly omnipotent, or merely the servants of an unruly universe, as desperate for control as we are now? And then there's the question that makes me shiver most of all. Would we still be ourselves? Would I remain Sibyl, or would my mortal soul die upon gaining divine immortality? Take the plunge and don't look back, huh? As good a plan as any, I presume.
She sighs and closes her eyes, then smiles her easy smile.
Such a silly game we play, to be a god. It's quite wasted on mortals, if you ask me. We are all of us too blemished to become immaculate.
Sibyl slides her hand in yours, makes your heart skip a beat with her particularly coquettish smile.
I've something I need to tell you. You earned it just by being you. You see, the thing is...
She scrapes her throat, hesitates, almost as if she's a bit nervous. There's a first.
I'm afraid you're going to accuse me of killing the mood, but... I need to talk to you about the Master. No, not anymore. Or so I hope. My dear sweet girl. I've grown to trust you, more than I've trusted anyone since I've had names on my skin. Wasn't easy, I know. Come, sit down with me for a moment.
You both sit down, cross-legged, knees to knees, hand in hand. Suddenly, a melody. Sibyl sings a song, haunting in its simplicity. She uses no words, sounds rather. It's beautiful, yet somehow menacing.
This is my Scar song. It's all the Master needs to make me his slave once more, unless your voice opposes his. I will soon confront him, with you by my side. My life and my liberty I place in these soft, strong hands of yours. Will you sing? Thank you.
Her cat's eyes close as she leans in for a kiss. You kiss. It's sweet and wonderful. You wish it could last forever.
My word.
You both get up and smile to one another warmly. When you hear a sound in the distance and turn to look, Sibyl pats you affectionately on the bottom.
Adventure calls, but I say we do this again sometime.
Lohse looks pale and unfocused. She doesn't meet your eyes.
Yes! Oh, no!
Well, this all looks familiar. Large, impressive, glowing stones. It certainly has all the hallmarks of my people. Although we did not plaster our faces on every spare surface. That is the doing of your gods. It is not enough for them to curse you with their faces. Must they inflict them on stone too? I mean, at this point, it's just tacky. It certainly has that air to it, but I would make a terrible guide. Whatever place this once was, it was destroyed long before your time. We must access the Council of Seven. But let's be careful. Despite appearances, I have survived a lot. I would rather not experience death here. Indeed, so I gathered from your earlier prattling. I also met... Oh no, she was a god. When I wore flesh, I knew her as the Lady Armadia. She was one of the 7 lords that served our king. Naturally, and there was an awful lot of sneering, even back then. One can only imagine how much there... Yes, well, if you are quite finished wasting...